Well, hello there, stamping friends. It's Tracy Rather from Plum Crazy Stamping, and tonight we're going to be doing a paper pumpkin workshop featuring the August 2023 kit, Meaningful Flowers. As you come on tonight, please let me know who you are and where you're watching from, and please use the comments to ask any questions that you have or to share any feedback with me. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm really excited to share with you how I used one card from the projects and made 5 cards. So after just doing the 2 projects that are in the kit, I'll be following up and sharing you how I made those multiple cards using just the kit contents for 1 card. Anyway, so glad you're here. Let's go ahead and flip the camera down. All right, gonna just catch up the computer here and make sure that I can see your comments. Well, there we go. All right. So hi, Kathy. Hi, Betty. Nice to have you here tonight. So we're looking at the Paper Pumpkin box. This is our monthly subscription program through Stampin' Up! And you get this subscription once a month. You can sign up for it one time. You can do a 3, 6, or 1 year subscription. And as you get more months in your subscription, you get some bonuses. So if you get an annual subscription, you actually get 1 month for free. Anyway, this is the gift that keeps on giving, and I just love getting this every month in the mail. So inside, you'll find, now I've got the die cuts, card bases, envelopes, and all the things that I need for our project already out of here. And I have some of the stamps from the stamp sets that were included, and there was a bonus stamp set this month, which was nice. I have the ones we're going to be using on acrylic blocks already. We got some tear and tape, some dimensionals. We always get a stamping spot. This month it was Pretty Peacock. I'm going to just leave this in here because I use those when I go on crops. And then we have linen thread here. I already have that cut for the projects for tonight. And then most importantly, we get a colored instruction sheet that shows that this is 8 cards, 4 of 2 different kinds. On the back, it shows you all of the things that are included in this kit, so you can make sure you have everything. They show some alternatives, the QR code that shows you how to put this together, and then it also lets you know coordinating colors. So this is using Bubble Bath, Crushed Curry, Garden Green, Melon Mambo, Misty Moonlight, Orchid Oasis, Pretty Peacock, and Tahitian Tide. So very, very fun colors. Let me just get our box out of the way here so that we can get looking at our first project. So let me just bring this all over here. And we also have embellishments that go with this. And these are like acrylic drops. They kind of look like water drops. So we're just going to keep these to the side here. And let me switch out my Pierce mat. The stamps that we're using with this kit are photopolymers, so I will be using my Pierce mat for stamping. And look at these beautiful envelopes that come. So this is going to be project 1. So let's just look at what this says in here we need for our project 1. We're going to have a die cut. And we have obviously the envelope here. We have a sentiment label. We have some linen thread. And we have a card base. So let's look at the instructions for this one. So then after just listing what you need for the project, it does give you the detailed instructions. And so we're going to go ahead and do our stamping right away. So I'll just set these other pieces and parts off to the side. And we're going to do our sentiment. Your friendship is unforgettable. And that's going to be in Pretty Peacock. You know, I think I'm going to put it this way since I'm right-handed. And I have conditioned all my stamps because I used them already. So they should be good to go. If they're not, you might want to wash them on your chamois or your stamping scrub pad to make sure that any oil or lint or anything from the production process does not create any problems for you. All right, there we go. We have that first sentiment done. And I think that's the only thing we're going to stamp for this one. So I'm just going to shut that and set it aside here. And then to put the card together, this one is really easy, but it's so pretty. We have first the instructions say that we need to put dimensionals on the back of our Forget-Me-Not die cut. So that's one of the meaningful flowers in this kit. So we'll get those paper coverings out of the way. And then the suggestion is here that we are going to use, we actually got two kinds of dimensionals in this kit. Oh, I'm not seeing the straight line one. I'm going to just use the regular dimensionals because we're going to put some linen thread underneath the sentiment here before we adhere it down. So I'm going to put that on the sentiment so I can attach the linen thread to that. And it's like they would like us to make a bow, but not make the bow, but it may be easier just to keep it looped together if I do make a bow. So that's what I'm going to do here. We'll see if I have enough string. There we go. Enough linen thread. And then pull it back out. Oh, I didn't do that in the middle. There we go. They want the tails to be showing underneath the sentiment label and the loops to be above. So I'm just kind of manipulating this a little bit to do that. All right, and then I'm going to stick that. Let's see, which way is the words? Here we go. We will put this on that center dimensional to do just that. Okay, can you see how I've put that on there? All right, now let's look at how they want us to put this together. So we have the card base, and I'm just going to actually fold this over on the score line and use the bone folder to keep that in place so it's nice and crisp of a fold. And then we're going to open this up and actually place the separate die cut. It looks like they have it right in the center here. Okay. And then this is going to go underneath the flowers and kind of be hidden until you open up the card. And there we go. And this one doesn't look like it has any of the embellishments on it. So that is card one. Now let me see here. For some reason, I am not seeing your comments, so I want to just look at this again and make sure that I can see you. There we go. So hi, Betty. I'm glad you're having a nice day in Florida, Kathy. All right. There, let's go ahead and look at the second project here. And for this project, let's get the parts and pieces out here. So this is the lotus flower. So I have the lotus flower. There is actually some vellum that is already printed upon. And we have our card front and our card base. Ooh, that's so pretty. All right, and then we have a beautiful envelope with this one as well. So I'm going to set the envelope off to the side, and let's look at the instructions for this card. We actually need to be stamping right on our lotus leaf or lily pad leaf here. So let me get out the pretty peacock ink again, just kind of slide this over. And this one is going to say, you are capable of amazing things. And we'll just get this inked up. And then align this up. Just press down and pull straight up. There we go. Wow, that's perfect. Just like it was designed to be. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Now this time it doesn't want to close. Get that big piece of ink off my finger before I end up putting it on the card. All right, there we go. And now we're ready to put our card together. So as we're looking at this, they provided the tear and tape, which I've already applied around the edges of our vellum. And actually, you know, the best tool to go ahead and get that off is the take your pick tool. You know, you can kind of just sneak it underneath the covering of the adhesive there, and it comes right off. I was just talking with someone this last week in the kit event saying, you know, how much they appreciate using their take your pick tool, because I'll tell you, without it, I don't know how I did some of the things I did, but anyway, glad that it worked out. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this vellum underneath, or I'm sorry, on top of this card front. And then I have the dimensionals here on the card front, so I'm just going to peel off all this adhesive. Isn't it interesting? They even let us know where to put the dimensionals. And then I want to make sure my card is opening the right way before I put it on here. Okay. And then it's a matter of sliding. You can decide how far down you want to slide this. Now they have it way underneath. I don't know. I like this up a little bit more. I know I'm kind of covering this up. It's very hard to see. I'm going to actually put mine on top. I want to be able to see it. I know that kind of defeats the purpose of the vellum, but it's very hard to see that stamping under there. Yeah, I'm going to do this just because I like to make a little change, and I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals because I do want it to stand out. So up to you. This is called Artistic Freedom, and I'm going to make this change today. So right down here, there we go. And then I'm going to take the embellishments, the little epoxy drops here. And they actually are showing using 7 of them. I don't know that I need 7, but let's put some on here and kind of see what we're thinking as we look at it. There's 2 of them. I will use an odd amount. 3. Maybe we can find a place for 5 of them. And let's go right there. Okay, so there is our second card with this beautiful envelope. So if you like these, you can just go and make the, 4 and 4 of each of these. But I decided to challenge myself and actually do the, try to see how many I could make out of just the card parts for one card. So I'm going to move these out of my wafer right now. And I'm going to get the directions out of the way here because this is called Improvision. And I'm going to show you what I was able to accomplish. And I'm going to do it actually right along here for you so you can see it and see how you might do the same thing or make changes. And to do this, I also decided I was going to use some additional sentiments. So I'm using this current stamp set called Happy Labels. And these sentiments were the perfect size for what I wanted to do with these alternate cards. I also used the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. Now, I'm not sure if this is available or not. So an alternative, if you wanted to pursue doing something like I'm doing today, is we have these basics 3D embossing folders that are currently in our online exclusives that are really nice backgrounds, very textured. So I just thought I'd offer that to you as an alternative. All right, so let's go ahead and look at what I have for one card and how I'm going to take it apart so I can make multiple cards. So I have the die cut. You've seen that already, so I'm just going to set that up here. And I have a sentiment label, so I'm going to use that. I have the card base, so we're going to use this. And I have the envelope. So I'm going to start with the envelope. And first, I'm going to deconstruct this so that I can use it to make more cards. So let's get this on here. And I am just going to take the skinniest piece off the side of this envelope. And actually, you know where you have your track, I'm actually just going to go over the cut line to the other side of the track. So when I say I'm taking a very small piece off the envelope, that's about as skinny as it can get. So you'll see that this is, very skinny little piece. All right. Then I'm going to do that on the other side. So I'm just going to flip this over and I'm going to take off just that same little skinny piece. Okay, then I'm going to open up my envelope and I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to have to keep cutting here, but I want to be able to take off these pieces right here by just very carefully pulling them off and trying not to tear them. If you kind of get your finger under there, you can peel this off. All right, so we've got that piece off. Now I'm going to do it on the other side. Now, some people will have suggested that you take your heat gun, and if you loosen the glue, it might come off. I've also heard dental floss. Now, I've not tried it, so I just kind of pry it off with my fingers, but that might also help, okay? All right, then let's see how I want to put this into the different pieces. So I want to create a little piece of this, and so I'm going to start by cutting that apart to save a straight white piece. And once again, I'm going to use the track as my guide for the top of this, and I'm just going to make sure that this flower is right below that. Okay, and then I'm going to go right down to the right above the cut line here of where the envelope creases. All right, and I have another piece that I want there. And I'm going to go now just a little bit above where that was and straighten this out. I don't want that ridge. Okay, so I've got that out of there. And now I'm just going to cut right straight along, being able to move this part that was cut. And I need the flat edge, so I'm going to just flip this over and kind of estimate where this is, and then check it out when I flip it back over if I need to cut again. Nope, I've got it. And then it is just to go side to side here and make this square where it is curved. Okay, so now I have a piece of green, a square, nice square. And on this side, let's see here. Oh, my computer keeps going off here, so I can't see if you are asking any questions. There we go. Okay, then let's go ahead, and I'm going to use this on another card. So I'm just going to straighten this out by cutting. Try to keep this up here so you can see it. And I'm going to do the same on this other side. So just going to where it gets straight. Okay. And then I just want to cut off where the adhesive goes across here, because I don't want that shininess. All right, so we've got another rectangle. Then let's go ahead, and now I'm going to cut, this is the card base. I'm going to cut straight across following the line for the card front to the card back. Okay, we've got another piece. Now I'm going to just make sure I straighten out this line. Oh, that didn't work out so well. My blade might be getting a little, need a new blade. Anyway, I'm going to see how I can rescue this after I cut it in half. So what I want to do is this saying about the forget-me-not I think is pretty cool. So I am going to look at centering this. So I'm going to make a cut above here, kind of equidistant like underneath here. Okay, there we go. And then I have another rectangle here. And now I'm going to fix this other side. I'm just going to, there, cut it so that it's clean and we have something else for our card. All right. There we go. And to save time, the other pieces and parts that I'm going to use, I have cut, but I'm going to share them with you and the measurements. And I'm also going to have this in my weekly email tomorrow. So you'll have another place where you can get the measurements if you're interested. So I'm going to kind of just go through the process here with all these parts and pieces and put together some different cards. So I'm going to start out with Tahitian Tide, and I'm going to use that as my card base here. And so this is a regular half piece of cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I took the 2022 to 2024 6 by 6 matching designer series paper, and you can use this side up, or you can use the stripes. I'm going to try the stripes. I think that they're really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on the card front. It gets pretty close to the edge there. All right. Something I forget sometimes to look at in the catalog are these sets of 6 by 6 designer series paper that have a couple of patterns that match all the different cardstock. It's really easy to make card fronts with it. So when I was digging through stuff trying to figure out how I wanted to do this, this popped up and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. All right. Then I'm going to put this rectangle, or do I like the yellow? I think I'm going to put it this way. So just going to glue this down. This is kind of a heavier cardstock. So you could tell the difference in texture when you're in person with this. Okay, so we've got that. And I'm going to actually use the die cut on here and just pop that up with the dimensionals. Since it's all ready to go. Okay. So I'm just going to center that. Now, you could put a sentiment on the front of this if you want, but I decided I wanted my sentiment on the inside. So I'm going to stamp this before I put it in here. And let's see, I'm going to, I just want to hug you. So I'm going to use Tahitian Tide, and I'm going to use this leftover scrap I have on the bottom. Just going to line it up for right now, and I'm not gluing anything down because I want to make sure that I stamp straight. So I'm getting out my Tahitian Tide. And now with sentiments, it's not so important that you're on the Pierce mat. It's the solid images that really make a big difference. So this should be just fine like this. And I'm going to put this about 1/3 of the way down. Just press firmly. Pick it up. There we go. And then I'm just going to set this aside for now and go ahead and glue this little scrap of DSP on the inside of the card. And then go ahead and put the card insert in here. And there's our first card. I think you can see how nice this looks on the inside. And then the front of the card. So there is one card done. Let's go ahead and make a second one here using Tahitian Tide, the other side of the one piece of cardstock. And I'm just going to make my card base by creasing this on the 4 1/4 inch score line. And then this one I'm going to have a white card front. So that's my basic white cardstock. And just use this card front off to the side. And I'm not going to glue it down yet because I want to stamp it and make sure that I get it straight. So this time I'm going to use the Garden Green ink and go ahead and stamp this with "There's no one like you." I really like these sentiments from the Happy Labels. And I like the size of these. They're kind of medium. Okay. Let's set that off to the side here. All right, and I'm just going to layer this on the card front that is cut. The regular card front size, I use 4 inches by 5 1/4. Just kind of want to get a little glue on some of these pieces of grass going upwards. Okay. And then I just want to line it up with the corner. Card front. There we go. And then there's just the tip of this coming over this side, but once it goes onto the front, it won't matter. And trying to slide that over just a little bit. So let's go ahead and glue this onto the front of our Tahitian Tide card base. So if you have designer series paper that have clumps of flowers, this is definitely a card design that you could use to just put something off to the front on the white card. And I think the white really makes this pop. That's why I did that instead of just putting this on Tahitian Tide. And then on the inside here, now I don't have any scraps, but if I had a scrap of Tahitian Tide, I would add it on here. But for right now, I'm just going to put the white inside and leave it open-ended here if I want to add another sentiment or if I just want to write a note. But adding just white inside really kind of classes up your card, makes it feel more substantial when someone is reading your card. So there's our second card. So that makes it 2. Let's get this one. All right. Now let's go ahead and use some Garden Green with our Tahitian Tide. And in this case, this is the Tahitian Tide, just the card front, 4 by 5 1/4. I did run through the embossing machine, and that really makes a difference with the texture. And so I wanted to do some layering with this one. So regular card base here. And take my bone folder and get this folded. Right, and then I'm just going to layer this with the textured card front that I already put through the embossing machine. Okay, now this one is going to be a landscape card. in light of the size of the, whatchamacallit, the solid piece I have here. And now this is going to go across. Remember, this is 5 1/4. So I'm just going to cut this piece down to fit the 5 1/4. And so let me put this up here, and I'm going to just cut it off the other end. There we go. And then that will fit right on here. And I'm going to stamp that before I do it. Let's get our garden green again. And this one is You Are My Happy Place. Do you have any of those places you just love to go? We went to spend time with our friends to go to our first preseason Packer game, and I would describe their home as one of our happy places. We just have the greatest time when we're there. They feed us great food. We play cards. You know, if you fall asleep on their couch, it's kind of like you're at home. That's fine. So I would definitely call that one of my happy places. I think everybody needs that. All right, let's go ahead and glue this on the front. And I'm just going to center this. And the texture really does make a difference with this. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put a white insert in here. And when I have scraps, I just put that along this insert. I don't happen to have any right here right now. So if I get some Tahitian Tide strips, I will add it because I think it will make it look so much nicer. Okay, but anyway, there is card 3. All right, on to card 4. Now I'm going to do a little bit of the crushed curry, and I have one piece of basic white card insert here. Let's go ahead and fold this. So the other thing is I always have 8.5 or 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4 pieces, you know, that I have already cut and scored, and so it makes doing these kind of projects really easy. All right, we're going to make another landscape card and take this piece and just center it. And because this, on the envelope, this was over a crease, but because you have all the flowers, you can't see it when it's on the card. So this is just using part of that envelope. And just check out how pretty that is. And it's not quite, you know, perfectly square. You could have cut more off, or I could have cut more off, but I kind of like that it's a little wider on the top and bottom. And then this is the one I'm going to stamp here. Just a note. Let's go back to using Tahitian Tide again. Oh, a wink of Stella on the flowers would make them really pop. So we have just a note. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals on the back here. You know, I'm looking here, Kathy, to see if I have Wink of Stella right here, and guess what I do? I think I'm going to go ahead and take your suggestion, and let's add a little Wink of Stella here. And I'm going to put it on the centers of the flowers. That's a good idea. You know, also taking the clear embellishments I could do on here too, or if you have other embellishments, that would also be a good idea. So we've got a little bit of shine going on there. I'll tell you, doing this, there's just so many different approaches you could take. It's really fun trying to get more out of your kit. Kind of take it as a little challenge. Thank you for that idea, Kathy. Yeah, you knew I had some Wink of Stella. Girls gotta always have her bling around here. Okay, and so then I'm just gonna put this along the bottom. There we have another card. All right. Oh, I got to put the inside in here. And as I'm putting this together, I'm thinking, you know, what a great note set this would be for 5 cards to give to someone. You know, they're all, you know, they look very coordinated. And what a great little gift for someone. There we go. So, card number 4. I have the other half of our crushed curry here, and another one of our card inserts. Let's go ahead and just use the bone folder, and I tell you right while I'm doing it, I'm going to put this right in the card right away. I have new glue, so trying to get just the right amount out and not get too much is my challenge. Last week I was using the glue that didn't have much glue in it, and I was trying to get it out. So, you know, it's always something. Yeah, crushed curry is such a pretty yellow, isn't it? All right, so then let's see how this turned out with our green. And then mounting this on there. Wow. I'm not even going to have to trim it. Oop, but I did get glue on the edge there. There we go. Oop, I got to put this on the green. I always love that little forgiveness the glue gives me to slide something into being straight. And actually, this is the card I wasn't going to put the card insert in first because I want to do a little coloring and stamping, but we'll just do it anyway. It's all going to go fine, right? All right, so there's the front of that card. But then what I thought I would do in the stamp set for this kit, there is a clump of forget-me-nots. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp those. Got to make sure that I'm seeing, yeah, I think this is pretty good. Oh, actually there's a clump in there. I don't like it. I'm just going to wash it off. I think I have a little lint piece on my stamp pad, and it was stuck on my flower. So let me fix that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and stamp this right in the corner. Now this is a great little stamp to just have at your disposal, you know, from as part of the kit. And we get to keep our, you know, the sets. All right. And then I think I'm going to use the, let's see, Your Friendship is Unforgettable again. And I'm going to do that in the green. So let's just get our stamping done before we color. I'm going to close this other ink pad here. All right, here we go. I wanted to use this stamp set, which is from the kit, because of the Forget-Me-Not flowers here. There we go. All right. Good enough. Now I'm going to just bring in my Stampin' Blends. And I don't know if I lost my Stampin' Blends or they don't have the colors, but I'm going to use some of the Stampin' Right markers too. So I am going to use the Garden Green, just Stampin' Right marker, because I couldn't find Garden Green in my Stampin' Blends, so I'm not quite sure what the situation is, but since I'm mostly doing stems and leaves, this is working just fine. So I'm just going to go along them and color them in with the green. And, you know, because I'm doing that, now the leaves, would I like to blend a little more? Yeah, but this worked fine. Improvise, right? Okay, then I've got this big leaf here down on the bottom. The thing that'll be nice is you will be able to see the difference between Stampin' Blends and Stampin' Right markers. So I'll be able to show that to you when I'm done here. Now, obviously, I could have put this also in the middle of any of the other cards. And with 4 sets of this, I could make, you know, 20 cards out of just using the supplies for 4. Plus, I would have to add a couple envelopes, but that's a pretty good situation. And I don't think these cards look like, you know, oh, she really skimped. I don't think they look like they're being skimped. Okay, so there's the green leaves. Now, let me go ahead and let's do the Tahitian Tide. So I'll just remind you, the Stampin' Blend alcohol markers are used to blend. There is a light and a dark, and you buy a pair for $9. And they have 2 different tips. They have a nib, which these flowers that I'm doing are really small, or there's a brush tip, but I'm going to use just the nib end because these flowers are so small. Over larger areas, I like the brush, but I want to stay inside the lines. And I did stamp this with the Memento Tuxedo Black so that I would not make the ink of the outline run with my alcohol marker. Now you can only do a couple flowers at a time because you want to make sure your ink stays wet enough so that you can blend colors. So now I'm just taking the darker Tahitian Tide and trying to accent the flowers a little bit towards the inside and on the very outside of the bud. So there's some variation in color. I hadn't colored for a while, so I thought, yep, time to do a little coloring. I'm going to go and do the third blossom here just for time. Okay, and let's go back with the dark. And I use the artist's designs to help me, where they put in shading or marks. That's where I'll many times provide the emphasis with the darker color. And then I have, let's see, Mango Melody, I believe, here. And I'm just going to do the flowers yellow. I could do Crushed Curry, but this popped a little bit more. Now I actually could take Tiny Gems and put inside here too, but there. All right, so then that is our 5th card. And then the last thing I want to show you is, let's put something on the envelope. So on this that I, peeled off the envelope, I'm actually just going to glue this on the very side of the envelope. Now I could also stamp that Forget-Me-Not flowers on the bottom of the other envelopes and just leave it black and white. Or you could do it in Tahitian Tide, or you could do it in Garden Green. And, make it look a little more festive. But that would be just using the stamp you already have. So there, now we have the envelope too. And all I have left that I haven't used is this. So, I'm interested in questions and or comments that you have. And I'm going to lay out all of our cards here. And there we go. I really had fun with this kit. Let's see. Friday, I'm going to be doing Hey Chuck, a really fun set with the chickens. You guys know I love those chickens. So this is the 3rd set that has chickens in it. And then Thursday, I'm doing a class making Halloween treat holders, birthday party favors, and Christmas stocking stuffers. Now that registration is available here on my business page, and don't hesitate to let me know if you have questions at Tracy, Traci, at plumcrazystamping.com. I am really looking forward to that class because you could use these gift giving surprise holders for all kinds of reasons through the end of the year. So with that, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for joining me tonight here as we enjoyed the August 2023 Paper Pumpkin kit called Meaningful Flowers. Once again, if you need my help for any reason with with stamping, don't hesitate to contact me, Tracy, Traci, at plumcrazystamping.com. Take care and happy stamping. Bye-bye.